The chamber of the Allied Concord was once a cathedral of light. Now, fractured panes of star glass hung like broken teeth around its great dome, the glow of distant nebulae leaking through cracks no one bothered to repair. The air carried the faint tang of ozone from overworked life support, and the bitter scent of fear. Commander Ela stood at the central dais, hands locked behind her back to hide the tremor in her fingers. Her uniform had lost its crisp edges, its fabric scorched from retreat after retreat, but her eyes were sharp, harder than they had ever been. Across from her sat the council, 9 species where once hundreds had gathered, cloaked in silence and despair. Another fleet lost, rasped Chancellor Dryvac of the Valari. His translucent throat pulsed with each word. The Dominion swallowed 3 worlds in less than a week. There are no reinforcements left. The words fell heavy. No one contradicted him. They are not an empire, Ela said, her voice measured. They are an eclipse, consuming light itself. Every strategy we've employed, every defense we've raised, they adapt, they devour, they leave nothing. We are out of time. The council stirred, but it was the elder Tavarin who leaned forward, eyes glowing with phosphor light. Then what do you propose, Commander? Flee into the void? Hide like vermin among uncharted stars? No, Ela replied, drawing a breath that scraped her chest raw. I propose we make the call. The chambers shuddered with outrage. Councilors shouted, tendrils flailing, wings beating, mandibles snapping. The translator systems nearly overloaded with overlapping voices. You dare! Shrieked Magistrate Kex, spines rattling in agitation. To even speak of them is heresy. Better to die clean, kissed the silver-scaled Nyran delegate, than to awaken predators that will feast on us once the Dominion is gone. Ela let the storm crash over her, waiting for the noise to fade. When silence returned, she stepped closer, letting the overhead light carve her figure into sharp relief. You all know the stories, she said. You've read the archives. You've heard the warnings. Humanity was exiled for a reason. Too violent. Too cunning. Too unwilling to bend. Yes, they terrified us. They terrified me. But what terrifies me more is extinction. And that is what we face if we do nothing. Dryvac's throat pulsed again, this time with a tremor of dread. You would bring them back into our galaxy? Invite the wolves into the fold, thinking they will guard the sheep? Ela's jaw tightened. Perhaps they will eat us. But at least we will not die silent, faceless, consumed by an enemy no one even understands. Humanity fights. That is their curse, and their gift. If anyone can bleed the Dominion, it is them. A ripple of unease moved through the chamber. No one denied the truth of her words, but truth itself was dangerous. The Dominion was an enemy they could imagine losing to. Humanity was an enemy they could imagine winning for them, and then never leaving. Tavarin's phosphor gaze locked onto her. Do you know what you are suggesting, Commander? You would gamble every surviving world on a myth. You would trade the known terror for the unknown. Yes, Ela said without hesitation. Because the known terror has already won. The council descended into whispers, voices frayed with panic. Arguments twisted in every language: surrender, flight, hiding, denial. None offered hope. At last, silence fell again. Dryvac spoke with the finality of stone. The Concord rejects your proposal. There will be no call. Humanity remains exiled. This council is adjourned. The dismissal should have ended it. But Ela did not move. She raised her chin, eyes fixed on the fractured dome above, where distant stars burned against encroaching darkness. Then you will all watch your worlds die, she said quietly. But I will not. Gasps and hisses followed as she stepped down from the dais, boots striking hard against the cracked floor. No guard tried to stop her, none had the will. She walked out of the chamber, her path echoing with the weight of decision. The war room aboard her flagship was a husk of its former self, consoles cracked, maps flickering with red where blue once held. Her officers rose when she entered, uncertain, their eyes reflecting both loyalty and fear. They refuse, she told them. So we will do what they cannot. Her second, A tall Alaran with pale skin ridged like carved stone, frowned. Commander, the penalties for such treason. Treason against what? Ela cut him off. An alliance already dead? A council paralyzed by fear? We answer to survival now, nothing else. No one spoke. The hum of the ship seemed to deepen, like the vessel itself understood. She approached the central console, a black sphere ringed with controls locked behind security seals. Symbols glowed faintly across its surface, ancient glyphs untouched for centuries. The final call. Override code Theta 7 Corin, Ela said. The console resisted. Warning glyphs flashed red, alarms whispered through the room. Asterisk unauthorized. Forbidden. Quarantine breach, asterisk. Her voice did not waver. Authorization, Commander Ela Veyron, last strategist of the Allied Concord. Confirm priority, survival of civilization. The console hesitated as if weighing her words. Then the glyphs shifted, unlocking one by one until the sphere opened like a dark flower, revealing the dormant beacon within. Her officers held their breath. This is madness, one whispered. This, Ela replied, is the only choice left. She placed her hand on the beacon's surface. It pulsed once, cold against her skin, then surged alive with light. A signal ripped across the stars, bypassing every relay, every blockade, every prohibition written into galactic law. A message carved into pure frequency, aimed at a single system, a single world long abandoned. Earth. As the transmission vanished into the void, silence reclaimed the war room. Every officer stared at the dark horizon through the viewing pane, as if expecting retribution to strike instantly. Ela lowered her hand, the glow fading from her skin. Her heart beat steady, certain, unyielding. They will come, she said. No one dared to ask whether she prayed for salvation, or feared what she had just unleashed. The beacon had been lit for 3 days, and silence pressed down like a second gravity. Commander Ela stood at the bridge viewport, watching stars crawl across the black. Her flagship drifted with its running lights dimmed, its fleet reduced to a skeleton force, ships scarred, crews exhausted, morale cracked. Every hour they waited felt like waiting for an executioner's blade. Her second, Captain Darren, broke the stillness. If they heard us, why don't they answer? His voice carried both defiance and fear. Ela did not turn. Maybe they're deciding whether we're worth the effort. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Worth the effort. Humanity's reputation painted them not as saviors but as predators who weighed every alliance like a hunt. Sensors Officer Raleth, a young Keth with luminous skin, spoke up. Commander, we're picking up distortions. Not Dominion signatures. Encrypted echoes, scattered, faint, bouncing across relays no one has used for centuries. The bridge tightened with attention. Ela's pulse quickened. On screen. The display flickered. Static bursts resolved into jagged symbols, fragments of words in an archaic dialect. They looked almost like claws raked across glass. Darren frowned. What does it mean? Ela studied the fragments, her mind digging through years of restricted archives. Humanity had coded their messages not for clarity, but for survival. Each signal a puzzle, each fragment bait or blade. It means they heard us. Whispers rippled through the crew. Relief warred with dread. Then alarms screamed. Dominion fleet inbound! Raleth shouted. Vector 329 intercept course. 12 warships minimum. The viewport lit with the shimmer of approaching predators, ships of obsidian design, edges glowing with stolen energy. The Dominion had found them, drawn by the beacon like sharks scenting blood. Shields! Ela snapped. Prepare evasive maneuvers. All ships scatter and regroup on signal Delta. The fleet lurched into motion. Ela gripped the rail as the first barrage struck, lighting the void with violet fire. Hull plating groaned. One escort disintegrated in a burst of molten fragments. On the tactical display, red swallowed blue. They'll tear us apart, Darren warned. Not if humanity answers. Hila's voice cut through the chaos. She refused to let despair show. Hold them as long as you can. Her crew obeyed, though doubt flickered in every movement. The Dominion advanced, relentless, methodical. They did not negotiate, did not gloat, did not hesitate. They simply consumed. Another barrage rocked the ship. Sparks cascaded from ceiling panels. Smoke curled through the bridge. Ralith cried out. Commander! New contact, unknown configuration. Slipping out of nothing. Hila snapped her gaze to the viewport. From the darkness, a rift tore open, folding space like a wound. Out of it slid a vessel unlike anything in Concord records. Its hull was scarred metal, blackened as though it had weathered not just war but centuries of survival. No symmetry, no elegance, every surface bristled with weapons, armor bolted over armor, jagged like the teeth of a beast. Then another ship appeared. And another. Dozens. The Dominion fleet hesitated. For the first time in recorded memory, they faltered. The comms cracked alive, a voice bursting through in clear, unencrypted speech. The tone was steady, low, laced with something raw. We heard you. The bridge froze. Crews stared at one another, stunned, as though a legend had stepped into reality. Hila leaned toward the console, her throat dry. This is Commander Hila Veyron of the Allied Concord. The voice cut her off. We know who you are. On the viewport, the human fleet formed a wall of jagged silhouettes between the Concord remnants and the Dominion. Their weapons flared to life, projectiles, beams, arcs of energy unlike any Concord arsenal. They moved with brutal efficiency, no hesitation, no restraint. The Dominion charged. The first human volley answered. Ayla's eyes widened as she watched Dominion ships shatter under firepower designed not for deterrence, but annihilation. Where the Concord fought to defend, the humans fought to kill. They targeted engines first, crippling ships, then tore them apart piece by piece. No wasted motion. No mercy. On the bridge, all mixed with horror, Darren whispered, almost reverent, Gods help us. They're even worse than the stories. The battle raged, but the outcome was clear within minutes. Dominion wreckage drifted in glowing fragments, their formations broken, survivors fleeing into the void. The humans did not pursue. They simply held their line, weapons still glowing, as though daring any survivors to return. The comms flared again. Concord Fleet, the same voice said. Your call has been answered. Rendezvous coordinates transmitting. Do not deviate. Do not delay. The channel cut, leaving only the faint hiss of static. Silence weighed heavy over the bridge. Even the wounded ship seemed to hold its breath. Ralith finally broke it, voice hushed. They came. Hila's hands gripped the console. Her chest tightened, caught between relief and dread. The final call had worked. Humanity lived. Humanity fought. And now humanity was here. But she could not forget the way those ships moved, the precision of their slaughter. The Dominion had been defeated in minutes, a miracle, but what kind of saviors wielded such ruthless power without hesitation? Her crew waited for her word. Set course for the coordinates, Hila ordered at last. Her voice carried no tremor, though her heart thundered. We asked for them? Now we will meet them. The fleet limped into formation, following the path humanity had carved through the stars. Behind them drifted Dominion wreckage, ahead loomed the promise of salvation, or something far more dangerous. Hila kept her gaze on the dark silhouettes of the human warships. Every instinct screamed caution. Yet beneath the fear pulsed the truth she could not ignore. For the first time in years, the Dominion had bled. And it was because the most dangerous species had returned. The Concord fleet emerged from slip space in the shadow of a shattered world. The planet below was a grave, its surface cracked, oceans boiled away, cities nothing but scars. Above it hung the human armada, an iron constellation bristling with weapons. On Hila's bridge, silence pressed close. Every officer stared at the looming shapes, half expecting the humans to turn those guns on them. The Dominion had been terrifying. This was something different. A message pinged through secure channels. Coordinates, docking protocols, a time. No courtesy. No request. "They're not asking us," Captain Darren muttered. "They're ordering us." "Then we obey," Ela said. Her voice was firm, though her gut twisted. "We asked for their help. Now we face them." The docking bay swallowed their shuttle whole. Its walls were blackened steel, reinforced with plates salvaged from a dozen wars. The humans had built not for beauty but survival. Every rivet told a story of battle. When the hatch opened, the air was heavy, metallic, almost feral. Ela stepped out first, her crew close behind. They were met by soldiers. Humans. They looked nothing like the pristine images in old archives. These were scarred, lean, armored in patched suits that bore no uniform insignia. Their eyes were sharp, unblinking, measuring every movement like predators deciding if prey was worth killing. The leader stepped forward. His voice was low, steady. "Captain Marcus Vey. You called us." Ela squared her shoulders. "Commander Ela Veyron. Allied Concord." Vey studied her in silence long enough to make her skin prickle. Then he spoke. "Why?" The question cut like a blade. He already knew the answer, but he wanted to hear her say it. "Because the Dominion will erase us all," Ela replied. "We've fought and lost. You're the only force capable of resisting them." Murmurs rippled among the soldiers. They didn't look away. "Strange, coming from those who exiled us. You branded us too dangerous. Unfit to share your stars." Ela didn't flinch. "We were wrong." He tilted his head, studying her as if weighing the honesty in her words. Finally, he gestured. "Come." They walked through corridors lined with weapons and displays of captured wreckage. Ela's eyes lingered on jagged trophies, Dominion husks dissected and repurposed. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had learned to use their enemies' flesh against them. In the command chamber, a hollow map dominated the room. Red flares marked Dominion-controlled sectors, spreading like infection. At its center glowed a single blue beacon, the humans' hidden bastion. They pointed at the red tide. "They grow faster than you understand. You're not asking us to fight. You're asking us to burn half the galaxy before they consume it." Ela's stomach tightened. "If that's what it takes, then yes." One of Vey's officers, a woman with half her face replaced by metal, sneered. "And when we finish? Will you cast us out again?" Ela met her gaze. "If we survive, we'll be alive to argue. If not, there won't be anyone left to judge." For a moment, only the hum of machinery filled the chamber. Then Vey spoke, his tone final. "Very well. We fight. But understand, humanity doesn't wage clean wars. We strike where it hurts most. We don't stop until our enemies are ash." Ela exhaled slowly. "Then let the Dominion burn." The battle came faster than she expected. The Dominion launched a massive offensive, drawn by the humans' sudden appearance. Ela's fleet joined the line, battered ships holding formation beside predators. When the enemy emerged, the void lit with fury. Humanity unleashed weapons the Concorde had never conceived, kinetic rods that fell like lightning, tearing ships apart with raw mass, swarms of drones that shredded hulls with coordinated precision, artificial singularities that devoured entire formations in a whirl of collapsing light. The Dominion reeled. For the first time, their advance faltered. On Ela's flagship, her crew watched in stunned silence. "They fight like monsters," Darren whispered. "No," Ela said, her voice cold. "They fight like humans." But victory carried its price. The humans sacrificed without hesitation, detonating entire moons, luring Dominion fleets into traps that cost billions of civilian lives on contested worlds. To them, collateral damage was not failure, it was strategy. Ela forced herself to watch. The Dominion bled, but at every turn she wondered if they were trading one nightmare for another. After the final clash, wreckage filled the void. Dominion ships fled broken, scattered. The Concorde had never seen them routed. Yet the silence that followed was not triumphant. In the command chamber, Vey stood with his officers. Ela faced him across the map table, the galaxy still bleeding red. "It's done," she said. "They've been beaten back." "For now," Vey replied. His tone held no pride. Only certainty. "They'll return. Stronger. They always do." Ela studied him. His face was carved with scars, his eyes relentless. "And you'll keep fighting?" He nodded once. "Because that's what we are. We don't fight to survive, Commander. We fight to dominate." The words chilled her. Humanity had saved them, yes? But salvation carried a shadow. As she left the chamber, Ela understood the truth. The final call had worked. The galaxy would live to see another dawn. But it had awakened something older, something hungrier. The Dominion had been in eclipse. Humanity was the fire that burned through it. And fire never stopped at the edge of what it consumed.